In 1967, Detroit built more legendary cars in a single year than most manufacturers manage in an entire decade. The Camaro arrived, the Firebird arrived, the Cougar arrived. Shelby's Mustang finally got a big block engine of its own. And quietly, almost secretly, Chevrolet built 20 Corvettes so extreme that the company deliberately lied about how much horsepower they actually had, just to keep casual buyers away from them. By the end of this countdown, you'll know exactly which 10 American cars earned the right to be called the fastest of 1967, and why so many collectors and historians still consider this single year the true golden age of the entire muscle car era.
This isn't just a list of fast cars. This is the story of the year almost every great American performance nameplate either debuted or hit its absolute stride at the exact same time. New pony cars from Chevrolet, Pontiac, and Mercury, all-new performance badges from Dodge and Plymouth, and a Corvette engine so powerful that its own manufacturer was afraid to tell the truth about it. 1967 didn't just add to the muscle car era, it defined what people still picture when they hear the words Golden Age.
By 1967, the runaway success of the GTO and Mustang had convinced every major manufacturer in Detroit that a whole new category of car was here to stay. Chevrolet answered the Mustang directly with the all-new Camaro, immediately available with big block power. Mercury launched its own pony car, the Cougar, aimed at slightly more upscale buyers. Dodge and Plymouth both introduced new performance badges, the RT and the GTX, built around Chrysler's massive 440 cubic inch V8. Pontiac replaced the GTO's original 389 with a larger 400, and Chevrolet, quietly and without much fanfare, built a tiny batch of Corvettes powered by the most extreme engine the company had ever certified for public sale. It's genuinely difficult to find another single year in American automotive history where so many now legendary names entered the story at once. Let's start the countdown. Number 10 brings Buick's mid-size performance flagship a new name and a genuinely competitive new engine to match. Renamed the Grand Sport 400 for 1967, the car dropped its previous 401 cubic inch Wildcat in favor of an all-new 400 cubic inch V8, factory rated at 340 horsepower and a substantial 440 pound-feet of torque. It represented Buick's most focused, most clearly branded muscle car yet, continuing the division's tradition of emphasizing smooth, torque-rich power over outright peak horsepower numbers. The GS400 held its own comfortably against the GTO and Chevelle SS that year, proving once again that Buick's understated approach to the horsepower war remained a genuinely serious contender, even as flashier rivals grabbed most of the magazine covers. Number 9 introduces Oldsmobile's most focused performance package yet, the W30 Force Air option, debuting on the already well-regarded 442. Building on the standard 400 cubic inch V8, the new W30 package added a factory-installed Force Air induction system, drawing cold outside air through two fiberglass ducts built directly into the front bumper, along with a more aggressive camshaft and stiffer valve springs. Factory rated at 360 horsepower, the W30-equipped 442 finally gave Oldsmobile a genuine top-tier horsepower number to match its already excellent handling reputation. It's the first appearance of a package name that would go on to define some of Oldsmobile's most legendary muscle cars over the following decade, proof that Oldsmobile's engineers understood exactly what serious performance buyers wanted, even if the division rarely got the same attention as Pontiac or Chevrolet. Number 8 brings Mercury's brand new pony car straight to the top of its own performance lineup in its very first model year. Introduced as a more upscale, more refined alternative to the Ford Mustang, the Cougar came available with the GTE package, dropping Ford's 428 cubic inch FE V8 into the compact pony car body, factory rated at 390 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. It gave Mercury buyers genuine big block muscle, in a package that leaned noticeably further toward luxury and comfort than Chevrolet's raw Camaro. The Cougar's debut season proved there was real demand for a pony car aimed at slightly older, slightly more affluent buyers, and the GTE package made sure that market didn't have to sacrifice genuine horsepower to get it. Number 7 brings the car that started the entire muscle car era into its 4th model year, now with a genuinely larger engine underneath. Pontiac retired the original 389 cubic inch V8 for 1967, replacing it with an all-new 400 cubic inch engine. The standard 4-barrel version made 335 horsepower, while the new Ram Air package, drawing outside air through functional hood scoops, pushed output to 360 horsepower. Pontiac also finally offered a genuine 3-speed turbo-hydromatic automatic for 1967, replacing the aging 2-speed unit that had frustrated performance-minded automatic buyers for years. Sales cooled slightly from the record-shattering 1966 season, but the GTO remained comfortably the best-selling and most culturally significant muscle car in America, the undisputed template that every other car on this list was still measuring itself against. Number 6 keeps Chevrolet's big block Chevelle running at full strength in its second full year of genuine mass production. The 1967 SS396 continued to offer Chevrolet's familiar range of tunes, topping out with the solid lifter L88, factory rated at 375 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. Chevrolet refined the Chevelle styling slightly for 1967 and continued building the SS396 in strong numbers, cementing it as one of the 2 or 3 most respected mid-sized muscle cars in the entire industry, alongside the GTO and the newly arrived GTX and RT from Chrysler Corporation. It remained a genuinely dominant presence at drag strips across the country, and its continued sales success throughout 1967 proved that Chevrolet's cautious one-year Z16 experiment had grown into one of the most important nameplates of the entire muscle car era. Before this countdown reaches its final 5 cars, it's worth pausing on just how unusual 1967 really was. In a single model year, Chevrolet launched the Camaro, Pontiac launched the Firebird, Mercury launched the Cougar, Dodge and Plymouth both launched entirely new performance sub-brands, the RT and the GTX, and Shelby expanded the Mustang lineup with its first genuine big block model. It's exceptionally rare for so many now iconic nameplates to debut within the same 12 months. Most of these cars would go on to define entire decades of American car culture individually, and in 1967, they were all sitting on dealer lots at the exact same time. It's one of the clearest reasons collectors and historians still point to 1967 specifically, rather than 1964 or 1970, as the true peak of the golden age. Not necessarily the single fastest year, but the single richest year for genuinely important new cars. Number 5 introduces a brand new performance badge that would go on to define some of Dodge's most legendary muscle cars for the next several years, the RT, standing for Road and Track. The 1967 Coronet RT came standard with Chrysler's massive 440 cubic inch Magnum V8, factory rated at 375 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque. Genuinely serious numbers for an engine positioned below the far more exclusive 426 Hemi in Dodge's lineup. Buyers who wanted even more could still order the Hemi as an option, but the 440-powered RT offered nearly the same real-world performance at a significantly lower price and without the Hemi's strict warranty limitations. It represented Dodge's clearest, most focused muscle car statement yet, and the RT badge would go on to appear on some of the most celebrated Mopar performance cars of the following several years, including the Charger and Super Bee. Number 4 is Plymouth's own version of the same formula, marketed as the gentleman's muscle car, for buyers who wanted genuine performance wrapped in a slightly more upscale package. The 1967 GTX came standard with the same 440 cubic inch Super Commando V8, factory rated at 375 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque, with the 426 Hemi available as a rare, expensive option for buyers who wanted the ultimate. Plymouth positioned the GTX as a more refined alternative to the Road Runner that would follow it a year later, aimed at buyers who wanted genuine muscle car performance without sacrificing comfort or styling sophistication. It's one of the more underrated entries from Chrysler Corporation's 1967 lineup, often overshadowed by its more famous Dodge sibling and by the cheaper, more culturally iconic Road Runner that debuted the following year. But in its own debut season, the GTX offered some of the most complete performance available anywhere in Detroit. Number 3 belongs to the car built specifically to answer the Mustang, arriving in its very first model year already carrying serious big block muscle. The 1967 Camaro SS came available with the same 396 cubic inch big block found in the Chevelle, topping out with the solid lifter L88 version, factory rated at 375 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. Chevrolet also offered the Z-28 package that same debut year, a smaller displacement road race-focused option built specifically to compete in Trans Am competition, giving the brand new Camaro two genuinely distinct, genuinely serious performance personalities right out of the gate. It's a remarkable debut season, by any measure. A car built from scratch to compete with an established rival, arriving with a genuine 375 horsepower big block option already on the order sheet, immediately establishing the Camaro as a legitimate player in Detroit's muscle car hierarchy, rather than a slow follower playing catch-up. Number 2 brings Carroll Shelby's Mustang program into genuine big block territory for the very first time. With the Mustang's redesigned, larger 1967 body finally offering enough room under the hood, Shelby introduced the GT500, dropping Ford's 428 cubic inch Police Interceptor V8, fitted with dual Holley 4-barrel carburetors on an aluminum intake into the fastback Mustang body. Officially rated at a conservative 355 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque, most period estimates placed the real output closer to 400 horsepower, with Ford deliberately underrating the engine to help keep insurance premiums manageable for buyers. The GT500 shifted Shelby's Mustang program away from the smaller track-focused GT350 and toward a genuinely quick, genuinely comfortable Grand Tour, a formula that would directly influence the even more famous GT500KR that followed it just 1 year later. And that brings us to number 1, the rarest, most deliberately hidden, and by a wide margin the fastest American production car of 1967, the Corvette L88. Built almost entirely for competition use, the L88 package combined a 427 cubic inch big block with 12.5-to-1 compression, aluminum cylinder heads, an aggressive solid lifter camshaft, and a single 850 CFM Holley carburetor, mandating options like posi traction, transistorized ignition, heavy-duty suspension, and the deletion of the radio and heater entirely. Chevrolet officially rated the L88 at just 430 horsepower, deliberately lower than the standard L71 street engine's own rating, specifically to discourage casual buyers and avoid drawing extra attention from insurance companies. Independent dyno testing at the time and modern rebuilds since have placed the real output somewhere between 540 and 580 horsepower. Just 20 L88 Corvettes were built for the entire 1967 model year, and the option required a mandatory 103-octane racing fuel warning placard on the dashboard. A properly prepared L88 could clear the quarter mile in under 12 seconds straight from the factory, and the engine went on to compete at Le Mans and in SCCA endurance racing over the following 2 seasons. Genuinely too much car for almost anyone who wasn't a professional racer, the 1967 Corvette L88 earned the top spot on this list as the fastest, rarest, and most quietly extreme American car of the entire Golden Age. So what did all of this actually prove? That by 1967, the muscle car formula had grown confident enough to expand in every direction at once. Bigger engines, new nameplates, entirely new categories like the pony car, all arriving within a single remarkable model year. That manufacturers had learned exactly how to build a car so extreme it needed to be deliberately hidden behind an underrated horsepower number, just to keep it out of the wrong hands. And that some of the most beloved names in American automotive history, Camaro, Firebird, Cougar, GTX, RT, all trace their very first chapter back to this exact same 12 months. It's easy to see, looking back, why 1967 still gets called the Golden Age. Almost every legendary badge that would define the next decade of American performance was already sitting on a showroom floor somewhere in Detroit, often for the very first time, all at once. Which 1967 American car would you bring back if you could only choose one? The terrifying Corvette L88, the debut year Shelby GT500, or the brand new Camaro SS 396? Did your father, your uncle, or a neighbor on your street own one of these cars? Write the name in the comments below.